Well, welcome back to Total Football. We're live until 5 here on Sky Sports News. Let's get to Arsenal. They face Brentford at the Emirates tomorrow night, but they're also preparing for what will be a monumental second leg of their Champions League quarter-final away to Real Madrid next week. Let's get to Gary Cottrell, who's been with Arsenal this morning. Good afternoon to you, Gary. Any concern over two of the best players on the pitch at the Emirates in midweek, Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice, after that win on Tuesday?
Well, no. Actually, no concern as far as Mikel Arteta is concerned. Yes, they came off, didn't they, both of those before the end of that amazing night against Real Madrid, but it was more a precaution than anything else, and both of them fully fit and available for selection for Brentford Saturday night football, and more importantly, of course, I guess, for the return leg at the Bernabeu on Wednesday night. We spoke a lot about Declan Rice in this news conference. Of course we did, about how he is around the place after those two amazing free kicks. Which one out of the two Mikel Arteta preferred, he couldn't really know. He thought about it, said they were different, but didn't actually pick one that he preferred, and he said he didn't know which one Declan Rice preferred either. He did say, though, that certainly they've been talking about Declan Rice taking more free kicks, if not all direct free kicks, when he's available for them going forward. Of course, he takes the dead balls, the corners from the left-hand side already. Mikel Arteta said he needs to score more. He's got more in his locker, even the close-up scruffy goals as well as headers, and they're working on that as well. And we obviously spoke a lot about Bukayo Saka and just how important he is to the side, to the club. Listen, sometimes you get a player who's amazing on the pitch, who scares the opposition virtually every time he plays, who is loved by his teammates. Sometimes you get a player who comes through the academy and is therefore special to the club. Sometimes you get a player who is brilliant off the pitch, is humble off the pitch despite all his ability. But when you get a combination of all those three, it really is extraordinary, and Saka is just that here. They think so highly of him. Of course, an integral part of that memorable night on Tuesday night, it was him that created both those free kicks. His fouls led to both those free kicks, which of course made a difference on Tuesday night. And again, going into that game, he spoke about loving the club and wanting to stay at the club and win things in the Arsenal badge, and Mikel Arteta has been responding and reacting to all of that.
Very important. It gives a level of threat, connection and unpredictability that probably no other player at the moment can provide it, especially with the connection that he has already built in and around the team, and he's had as well the power to leave the stadium, which is something incredible, because shifting the energy in the stadium is something really difficult to do, and a player is able to do that. That's a great addition, great quality to have. So humble, so simple, very committed to the club. Obviously has very deep roots connected to this football club and with a lot of the people here, so I'm very glad to hear that he wants to stay with us and win with us.
So, as you mentioned, Gary, it is Brentford in the Saturday night football tomorrow evening. So how does Mikel Arteta approach this? Because, of course, looming large, Real Madrid away next Wednesday in that Champions League quarter-final second leg.
Well, he's got plenty of options, not too many injuries now, of course, and he did make changes on Tuesday night, about 5 changes from the team that started at Goodison against Everton. Obviously, that might have been seen as a chance miss because Liverpool dropped points and so did Arsenal. They only got a draw in that game. So he will be aware of Brentford's good away record. He will be aware of what he said again, that he won't give up the title race until it's mathematically impossible. But of course, he'll have one eye on the Bernabeu on Wednesday. So yeah, it is a difficult decision for Mikel Arteta, but he knows how important that Real Madrid game is.
Those nights like we had the other day, they're going to be remembered for many, many years. And that's the kind of nights that gives you belief, it gives purpose to that competition, it brings joy, and then it prepares you for the next one, because you are waiting to experience a feeling like this again. And that's the most important thing, in my opinion, that people are looking forward to expend this kind of emotions with us. To be focused in what we can do, what we control, and when the time comes, prepare the game, because we know what to expect. And then again, we're going to have to earn it, to step up again be even better than we were in the first game.
So immediate injury news, Calafiori still not available for selection, not far away. But Kai Havertz, Mikel Arteta was asked whether after his hamstring surgery he'll be available before the end of the season. Until now he thought not. But Mikel Arteta isn't ruling out Kai Havertz being available just before the end of the season, so one to watch.
Okay, let's head straight out to Liverpool where Arne Slot speaking to the media.
For 2 more years. And hopefully, he can show Sunday again how important he has been for the whole season to us.
Is there relief as well?
I think for the fans it is. I don't think it's a surprise to you that I knew a bit better how his contract situation went over the course of the whole season. So maybe for the fans it was a pleasant surprise. I knew it a bit longer, of course, that things were heading in the right direction. And I think it's also a big compliment for Richard that he achieved to extend Mo Salah, who's such a great player, as a free agent, can go probably to every club in the world wherever he wants to. But he stayed at our club, and that's also a compliment for Richard, I think.
I'm assuming then you know more than us as to where Virgil van Dijk's contract situation is at the moment. So how close are you to announcing a new deal for Virgil? And I suppose how does his position regarding his future contrast with that of Trent Alexander-Arnold at the moment?
I think you know the answer. The boring answer, as always. We talk about contracts if they are signed. So in the situation with Mo, we are talking about it. As long as they're not signed, we don't talk about it. But I can tell you that I'm very happy with Virgil this season. He's been incredible for us. Even the last few games where maybe there were moments where he could do better, but if you look at the other 89 minutes, he's such an important player for us. So yeah, let's hope he can do the same. What I just hoped for with Mo, he can do the same on Sunday as well, being our leader again, as he's always been this season against West Ham.
He did drop that hint last week, though, that it's getting close agreement.
I don't read all the things that are told in the media.
Right. But I mean, it's good news as well. In some ways, this I suppose has been the most difficult point in the season for you, losing against Fulham and going back to those defeats to PSG and Newcastle as well. But the last time you lost in the league, of course, you then went and won 8 on the bounce in all competitions. So that would obviously see you home in the title race. We need to do that now.
That would be nice if that happens again, indeed. I think talking about Paris Saint-Germain this week probably brought our home game in a different perspective. If people were not aware yet of how good of a team they are, they probably are aware of that even more after seeing them play against Aston Villa. And if you then look back at our home game, where in my opinion, we were over 90 minutes the better team, then we might have a bit more credits about our performance than we got back then. But indeed, losing against Fulham is not what we wanted. But no matter if you win a game or you lose a game of football, if you play at home at Anfield, players know that they have to show up, and that's what we're going to do on Sunday.
Thank you.
Arne, working with Mo during your time here and being up close to him, what is it that makes him so special, and why is it that obviously fans and the club and everyone connected here are so pleased today that this player is staying with you?
First of all, he's always been judged as a player. He's always judged as a player, which is, of course, what you guys should do. But I also see him as a human being, and he's a humble person. Always wants to work hard. Always puts a lot of effort in to become the player he has become, and he wants to stay at that level. So he just keeps on bringing that effort every single day. And what makes him special on the pitch is, in my opinion, that he can score goals. Now, there are more players who can score goals, but Mo can also score a goal if he's not in the best half hour or the best 15 minutes. And that's why he's mentally so strong as well. And you need to be that if you want to be 7 or 8 years at the highest level every 3 or 4 days. Apart from quality, from physique, you need to be mentally really strong as well. And I think that's, apart from all the other things, how mentally strong he is probably what stands out for me.
how much of an input did you have on him staying? How much work did you do on keeping Mo here?
I'm part of that process, but I don't think I deserve the compliments. I think it's, first of all, it's Mo's choice and his agent's choice what he wants, and second of all, the club, FSG, Richard, Michael Edwards, they put a lot of effort in him to extend, and effort mostly means money. But also effort, not only money. So I think what it might tell you as well, that it's not only a good season this season, we want to make a very good season next season as well, and I think Mo is convinced that there's a fair chance that we're able to do so. So again, that's positive for us.
With the Fulham result and obviously some of the results that Vinny alluded to a moment ago, is this exactly the sort of boost and the bit of a reset that everyone needs just to forget what's gone before and just look ahead at the challenge that you've got at these final matches to get yourselves over the line?
I would prefer not to forget what has happened before, because we're 11 points clear. In one of the most difficult competitions there has been in the past 10 years. If you look at how many English teams are still in Europe, how well they are doing in Europe. Arsenal beating Real Madrid 3-0, and it could have been 5 or 6. So that probably tells you how strong this competition is. And so please let our fans and our players not forget how fantastic we've done till now. We're out of the Champions League because we lost against Paris Saint-Germain after one of the best games of football I've been part of in my life. So I would like us to remember what we've did. Not the last game, because that's the one we've lost. But in general, we can look back at 8 or 9 months of very good football. Where in a season you always are a bit on a high and a bit on a low, but on average, I think individual performance has been really well, and team performance also.
Thank you.
Arne, what more can Mo Salah bring to Liverpool? His record since the day he signed has been incredible. His numbers are fantastic. This season, though, he's developed a new facet to his game in terms of the amount of assists, and you're looking at a player that always appears to want to learn more. And signing this new deal, can it put an extra spring in his step? Do you think? Well, what more can he do for you?
We're always trying to achieve a bit more as a team and as individuals. But if you are playing at Liverpool, probably you're also close to coming to the maximum of your ability. So there's not a lot of room for improvement for Mo or for all the other players anymore. But you're just trying to reach perfection. And I saw Deschambault saying this. That's the Masters Golf, where we just spoke about before the press conference started. I saw a phrase of him, and it was from Lombardi, I think, who said, "We are trying to reach perfection, which we will never reach, but we reach excellence on the way." And I think that's what we are trying here as well. So we're trying to bring the best and the maximum out of the players to find this 1 or 2% extra. But it's clear that Mo is coming close to the end not to the end of his career, but to the end of his ability. I think we've brought almost the maximum out of his qualities this season, and then it's about consistency, which is one of the most difficult things in football, and that's why he's been seen as such a star player, because to play once or twice the way Mo does, I'm not saying everyone can, but most players can. But to do this on such a consistency level, that's what makes it so hard. And then I come back to the mentality part again.
Defeats have been a rarity in the Premier League this season. Your first away defeat last week at Fulham. I know you were disappointed, particularly in the first half, with the mistakes that were made defensively, and you've also hinted at that when you analysed the Newcastle game. Do you learn sometimes more from what needs to be done when the players' standards dip like that, in terms of a reference point for what you need to do between now and the end of the season?
I think immediately after the game, it felt to me that we only made 3 mistakes, maybe 4, because after 5 minutes Ibu lost the ball in his 18-yard box as well, and that cost us 3 goals. But in the moment, I also already felt that it wasn't a bad performance in the first half, which sounds weird if you make 3 mistakes, but if you just keep the 3 mistakes out and you look at what we did, it wasn't our best performance, but it wasn't bad as well. But as it is in football, if we would have been 1-0 up in that game, probably everybody say, oh, Liverpool control the game, they do really well. And you can see 3 goals with 3 mistakes, and everybody says it's been the worst first half of the season that we've ever seen at this football club. That is where football is all about. It's all about you are judged on the goals you score and you concede. So second half I liked a lot, but unfortunately we could only score 1 goal. But the mentality that we've shown by being 3-1 down and coming back the way we did, creating more than enough chances to get a result, also shows me how much character we had. But I liked the second half also more than the first half because we were much more dynamic. So players run much more, players took much more risk, and in the right places, the risks, and that led to a much better second half than the first half. And that's again where we try to learn from and do better on Sunday.
Arne, despite the effort and the money that you've spoken about, how much does this contract with Mo help your planning for the summer? Because you can use resources to build rather than replace. Yeah,
and I think if I would put myself in the shoes of a player that we might want to sign, it's always nice to tell them that Mo, we don't have to tell them anymore because it's out in the open now, that Mo has extended his contract. So that helps. But what helps the most is that we kept a quality player that scored 7 or 8 years in a row so many goals for us. And in the end, I just said football is a game we are mostly judged on the goals we score and we don't concede. So it's helpful to have a player that can score goals. That's for sure.
And it's not a question about contracts, but forgive me, it might be equally as boring. Semi-automated offside comes in this weekend. What do you make of that, and what do you make of it coming in at this stage of the season?
For me, it's something positive because I think it even helps the officials to make a better decision, and it's also clearer to the fans, because if I watch a game of football, it doesn't have to be mine or somewhere else around the world, and I see a red line and a blue line, I'm always like, that's close to each other. But when I see this 3D, is that the way you say it? This, I'm like, oh yeah, it's indeed, you're right, it's offside. So it's, I think it's a positive thing, and I like the VAR for clear and obvious, not clear, for obvious things, not for subjective things. So I'm a big fan of using the VAR only for your objective things. So offside, yes or no, a ball over the line, yes or no, is it inside or outside the box? I would prefer the subjective things to go out, but that's not going to happen.
Carl? Just it's on Mo again, sorry. How important a message does it send both inside and outside the club that he has signed for another 2 years?
Like I just said, I think it's important because I'm 100% sure that our fans love to see him extending. So it gives a positive vibe toward the club. Maybe a positive vibe we might even not need, but it's always good to have positive vibes instead of negative vibes. On the other hand, Mo performed so well, the club performed so well with you guys only talking about their contracts. But I think it's only positive, because if you want to sign new players or players that want to extend here, yes or no, it's always positive to see that one of our star players over the last 7 or 8 years have made the choice to extend his contract. So, and it also shows maybe how ambitious this club is. So not only Mo, but also the owners and the ones that came in last season, that we are really ambitious to keep performing the way this club has performed for so many years now.
And you spoke about him reaching sort of the end of his talent, you know, at the top of the level. Has his role changed for you this season, and do you see having to adapt as he gets older for you? Because there's maybe some games where he's maybe not been involved as much as maybe he had been in the past, but he's still producing the numbers. So have you changed his role, or do you see his role changing?
Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know if he was in 6, 7 or 8 years ago, or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, if he was every second of the game involved. I would be surprised if I look at all the wingers all around the world. They are not 90 minutes outplaying their opponent every single time. I think if you are a winger, you have to be creative, and that's the most difficult part in football, especially against these low blocks many good wingers face. So then it's normal that once in a while you lose the ball or one of your actions fail. But in general, Mo has a lot of impact on our game with assists and goals. But not only that, I think he's also a big threat. But he's not the only one. If I look at the Champions League this week, I think wingers are getting more and more important in this modern game of football, because teams are going to lower blocks than ever before. And then if you look at Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Kvaratskhelia, Doué, now Saka, Martinelli, they were all able during the week to open up the last line, or to open up to create chances, and that's what Mo does for us, and what Cody and Lucio are doing for us as well.
Hi Arne, you mentioned Ibu Konate before, and we've spoken previously this season about his abilities on the ball and the improvements that he's made in that area. Against Fulham, he was substituted for an attacker. That's the 4th time that this has happened this season. What does he still have to do to become an asset in those times when you are chasing the goal rather than being sacrificed?
Now, for me, if I take him out for another centre-back, that probably tells you that I wasn't as happy about his game. Or if I take Virgil out and I bring another centre-back in, you could assume that he's either injured, or he's not fit, or I'm not so happy with the way he's playing. If I bring an attacker in or a midfielder in, that probably tells you that we want to take a bit more risks. And that is what has happened. So I think Ibu improved during this season on the ball. It's not that he was really worse. So he was a French international that played the World Cup final. So he was already a good player. I don't think maybe he on his own improved. He knows better what we as a team want. How do we want to do build up, where his teammates should be, and which choices he has to make in that regard. But to take him off, and I think I've brought, I don't know anymore who did I bring? Probably.
I think it was Chiesa, and then.
No, I brought Chiesa in for Robertson. But Darwin, I brought Darwin in, and another. Doesn't matter. But it was for sure a player that probably can score a goal a bit more easy than Ibu can. So taking him off at Fulham has nothing to do where he is in his stage of how well he does with the ball. That is simply, yeah, we're 3-2 down. Let's bring as much goals on the pitch as we can. Let's take as much risk as we can to hopefully get a goal. And I think we created quite a lot afterwards. Which not to say which we would not know if he was still on the pitch, but it did work out in terms of chance creation, not in terms of scoring.
Okay, Arne Slot there speaking to the gathered media on the morning that it is announced that Mohamed Salah has signed a new Liverpool contract until 2027. The Liverpool manager, of course, a little bit upbeat as well, particularly when he first sat down with that news. In terms of it being a relief, he said, of course, he knew a little bit more than the fans, but for the fans, this probably was a relief this morning, and really complimentary as well about Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes in managing to keep hold of Mo Salah amidst worldwide interest. And he's also very complimentary about the player himself, calling him a very humble person, always working hard both on and off the pitch and putting a lot of effort into becoming the player who he is and maintaining that level, Chris, as well, which is really crucial when you think of the age that Mo Salah finds himself at and will be by the end of this 2-year contract.
Yeah, he'll be 35 when the contract ends. There was a bit of humour from Arne Slot as well. He said at the start, he was asked about, would Salah dropped a hint a few weeks ago that it was getting close, and he just wry smiled. He said, I don't read the papers. And then he also said, you've mentioned he praised the sporting director Richard Hughes and the club's owners FSG for putting in a lot of effort to getting Mo to stay. And then he said, effort mostly means money. They're not hiding behind the fact that this is not a cheap deal, but he also says it's positive to see one of the star players making the choice to extend. It shows how ambitious the club is, ambitious to keep performing as we have for so many years now.
What Martin Degarde and Jorginho did after Declan Rice's stunning second free-kick goal against Real Madrid. Here are 5 key takeaways from Arsenal's impressive 3-0 victory in the Champions League quarter-finals against Real Madrid on Tuesday night. The Gunners took a commanding lead ahead of the return leg, showcasing a thrilling display of football at the Emirates Stadium. In preparation for this clash with the Spanish giants, Mikel Arteta made some strategic changes to his Arsenal lineup, following a 1-1 draw with Everton last Saturday. Arteta introduced 5 new faces: Jurrien Timber, Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel Martinelli, all stepping up for this crucial Champions League encounter. Partey had a promising opportunity to put Arsenal ahead early, but his shot from the edge of the area was expertly saved by Thibaut Courtois. Real Madrid nearly took the lead in the 31st minute, with Kylian Mbappé coming close, but his effort was thwarted by David Raya after a brilliant pass from Jude Bellingham. Just before half-time, Courtois denied the home side again with a spectacular double save, keeping Declan Rice and Martinelli at bay. Arsenal finally broke the deadlock in the 58th minute, as Rice unleashed a phenomenal 25-yard free kick that left Courtois with no chance, striking the post with fierce precision. The hosts nearly doubled their lead moments later, with Martinelli and 2 attempts from Mikel Merino testing the Madrid defence. But the missed chances didn't haunt them. Rice delivered a second sensational free kick, sparking wild celebrations in the Emirates, while Merino added a third with a beautifully curled shot into the bottom corner. Here are 5 highlights from this unforgettable match in North London. No place for Ben White. Amid Arsenal's defensive challenges, Ben White found himself sidelined for the match against Real Madrid. Questions loomed over the former Brighton and Hove Albion player's inclusion due to limited playtime since returning from a knee injury. He had participated in the previous match against Everton, playing 61 minutes before being substituted for Timber. During his pre-match press conference on Monday, Arteta provided an update on White's fitness. "Yes, it looks good," he said when asked about player availability. "We have another training session this afternoon, but Ben completed the game. We had to manage his minutes since he hasn't played much, but he felt fine afterward. The rest of the squad performed well and are ready to train today." Unfortunately, White was not included in the lineup to face the Blancos, with Timber taking his place and Jakub Kiwior maintaining his spot. While he may not have started this time, there's a good chance he'll feature at the Santiago Bernabeu next Wednesday, as he looks to improve his fitness against Brentford on Saturday night. The impact of the win. Arsenal's victory not only boosted their confidence but also sent a clear message to their rivals in the Champions League. The performance was a testament to the team's resilience and tactical prowess under Arteta. With players like Rice stepping up in crucial moments, it's clear that the squad is beginning to gel at just the right time. Rice shines bright. Declan Rice, who was signed in the summer, continues to justify his hefty price tag with performances that have dazzled fans and analysts alike. His 2 stunning free kicks showcased not only his technical skill but also his growing leadership on the pitch. After the match, Rice expressed his delight, saying, "It's an incredible feeling to score in such a big game. We're building something special here, and nights like these remind us of our potential." Odegaard and Jorginho's leadership. Following Rice's second goal, Martin Odegaard and Jorginho took it upon themselves to rally the team. Their experience was evident as they urged their teammates to maintain focus and intensity, knowing full well that Real Madrid would come out fighting in the return leg. Odegaard, in particular, has emerged as a crucial playmaker, providing not only creativity but also tactical awareness. Jorginho's calmness under pressure has been vital in dictating the tempo of the game. What's next for Arsenal? Looking ahead, Arsenal will face a tough test at the Santiago Bernabeu, where they'll need to defend their lead against a determined Real Madrid side. The return leg promises to be a thrilling encounter, and fans are buzzing with excitement. Arteta is already preparing the team, emphasizing the importance of staying disciplined and composed. "We know Madrid will come at us with everything," he said in the post-match conference. "But we have to believe in our game plan and play our football." Broader implications. This win has larger implications not only for Arsenal's campaign, but also for the landscape of European football. It highlights the emergence of Arsenal as serious contenders in the Champions League, a far cry from previous seasons where they struggled to make an impact. If they can maintain this form, they might very well challenge for the title, sending shockwaves through Europe's elite. The victory has also reignited discussions among fans and pundits about the revival of English football on the European stage, with clubs like Arsenal, Manchester City, and Liverpool all performing strongly. This resurgence is a testament to the tactical evolution and investment in youth and talent across the league. Conclusion. As Arsenal prepares for their next challenge, the excitement and anticipation are palpable. With key players stepping up and a clear vision from Arteta, the Gunners are not just dreaming of glory, they're actively chasing it. The next match against Brentford will be crucial for maintaining momentum, but the real test lies in Madrid. Can Arsenal hold their nerve and secure a place in the semi-finals? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, the Gunners are back in business, and they mean business.